Hi, Kelly Swanson here. Today I want to talk about how you inspire a stressed out staff. It's what a lot of my clients are talking about now and asking me about is how do you inspire your team? You know, the ones who've now been left behind, who are picking up the slack for those who left or didn't show up today. How do you keep morale high at a time when there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel? Now, the struggle was always real in many industries, but now it is quite tragic. The great resignation. Where did they all go? Well, not back to work. Now, there were always difficult customers in our lives, but now for some of us, they're downright toxic and empowered and emboldened to be at their worst. Some of us are even concerned for our safeties at our work. There were always difficult employees in the workforce, but now it seems that some who have stayed behind, well, we kind of wish they would leave, if you know what I mean. In some cases, it even seems that the script has flipped between employees and leaderships. There's been a power shift. Everywhere I go, I see signs, physical signs, asking me to please be kind to the few staff people who have showed up today. Jobs for many people were already stressful. COVID made it worse. Supply chain issues made it even worse. The mental fallout from lockdowns, gas prices, inflation, and today's economy is just hitting punch after punch. And those are the storms we're all in, not to mention the personal storms we all have in our own lives, the part that others don't see. I know, pretty depressing. And I'm supposed to be a motivational speaker called for such a time as this. My job was easier when things were good, or at least better. But what do you do when you're in times that I believe are truly, as somebody said, the times that try men's souls? How do I lead through this? Especially when I'm often overwhelmed myself. I mean, I get it. I'm afraid, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, I'm angry. I feel a complete loss of control over my business many days, powerless to do anything. And sometimes I even worry about the basic needs of my family. Sound familiar? If you aren't recognizing any of these feelings, you need to pay attention anyway, because even if you aren't, your staff is. You know, the team who's been left behind in the burning house is choking. I know I sound overdramatic and I'm supposed to be hopeful, but hope starts with an awareness of where we are, of calling it what it is. Honoring and acknowledging that you and your people are having a hard time. And it's giving them the chance to tell you and for you to listen and to show them that they're heard. That's step one, is what are you doing to give people a platform weekly to talk about what they are experiencing and creating a safe culture for them to do that? If they aren't talking, why is that? Are you the problem here? The second step is to show them that you listened. Now, this is not the problem-solving step. This is not fixing. This is not blaming. This is one thing and one thing only. It's to say, I hear you. Here is what I heard you say. Here is what I see that you're feeling and going through. The next step, show that you get it, that you are facing or have faced similar struggles. This is not a misery loves company thing. This is a humans connecting through a common story thing. And it is vital to the health of your team that leadership and your coworkers have verbal empathy for their teammates. What are you doing to create a situation where this can happen and making them feel safe to do it? The next step is to take a look at what stories you are writing about your ability to get through this. You see, this is where you can all analyze, discuss, look at, and share what that voice in your head is saying. The scariest voice you have, that voice that goes everywhere. Don't just look at your work voice, look at the home voice too. You know, we really don't leave that voice at the door of work. It comes here also. Work is personal. Create a safe space where your team can really open up about their fears. Not sure how to do it? How about you go first? That's right, be vulnerable. No, this isn't the rah-rah portion of your day. This is the take off your face and get real part of your day. People need to know they're not alone in their struggle. You need to teach your team to lead a story-driven life. They also need to know that others have their back. So have a strategy session on how you will have each other's backs. Get specific. Cross departments, do the unconventional. Mix personal with business. Trust each other like the family you say your business is. If these are the times that try men's souls, well, then we need to be the people who heal men's souls. Forget just cute kindness and gratitude memes. Yuck. If they worked, they would have already worked. And we need to act like we're in a support group. Now, some of you leaders don't want to hear this. You're thinking of those high maintenance members of your team who are already wallowing in the pity. That's why you need boundaries and you need a mantra. Something as simple as we are constantly working towards a place of healing and positive with the intent to move quickly out of what we have acknowledged is our struggle. Or you can be more blunt like I do in my Happy Ever After Club and just say, hey, whining is going to be kept to a minimum. We will always push each other to get from sad to happy as quickly as possible. But you have to start at sad to understand how to find happy. And for those leaders who think the idea of making your people happy is silly and stupid, well, I kind of agree. Stop focusing on how to make people happy. That never works. And it's not really what they crave. They crave to feel valued, respected, heard, and remembered. And if you think that doesn't really matter, well, then say goodbye to your people because they will leave to find it somewhere else if given the chance. And now they've got plenty of chances. Gone is the day of the toxic boss. People don't leave jobs, they leave people. That hadn't changed. So if all your people are leaving, first thing you need to do is look in the mirror. So how can you inspire as leaders? Have some personal stories and some examples about the struggles you're going through right now and have been through. Tell us how it made you feel, what you learned from it, and what you're taking from that into today and in the future. Now, this is not a chance to complain. This is a chance to tell a story. It's a strategic story about a personal experience. It will create an emotional connection with your team that is vital during this time of leadership. So embody a style of story-driven leadership. And when there is victory, a rainbow, a happy moment, for gosh sakes, share it. Shout it from the rooftops. Tell all your people. Point them to their part in it. Make one success the success of all. Create this collective narrative of the good that is happening around you and because of you. And lastly, thread a grateful narrative through your daily work. Everybody talks about the importance of being grateful and adopting a thankful mindset and remembering your why. Yes, and it is critical. That's why they keep saying it. But very few talk about turning the good idea and attitude into an actual process. I mean, I wrote a whole book about it. Turn a good idea into a practice that can be measured and scaled. I surely don't have many of the answers for what is happening in our world today. And I'm no longer even sure I'm asking the right questions anymore. So I focus on what I do know. And what I know is this, is that the only thing we will always be able to control is the way we think. The story we tell ourselves will determine what we believe and how we behave. The story we write about ourselves, our teams, our customers, the situations we're in, our place in this world, that will define our steps. The story we write is the life that we live. That's why I do the work that I do, because I myself have learned the power of story. I can share that with you another day, but I can also help you tap into that power too. I'm Kelly Swanson, showing you how to inspire your teams by creating a story-driven culture. And by doing that, yes, we will find our light at the end of the tunnel.